Control, take one. Politicians like the idea of having control. Otherwise they wouldn't be politicians, would they, really? And through our history, there have been two ways of controlling people. The first one is through information, and the second one through substances. Religion being the opiate of the masses is a kind of meeting of the two. Information is very powerful. We've seen that, particularly in the 20th century when certain regimes mastered the use of the media. Obviously the communists and the Nazis spring to mind, but also our own governments haven't been too inept at manipulating the media. We're often being told how good things are, and we have stats to prove it. In George Orwell's 1984, the government were forever saying about how targets had been exceeded and this, that and the other, and that was a direct satire on the communist system, who were forever having 5-year plans and exceeding their industrial output, blah blah, and they made heroes of coal miners and factory workers for meeting targets and getting beyond them. Our own government is not adverse to this. Last week they said the unemployment figures were the best in 40 years, that the figure who were unemployed and claiming benefit was down to 1.4 million. The trick there is in the criteria, unemployed and claiming benefit. As they changed the criteria for claiming benefit, the numbers have indeed gone down. In 1975, I suspect that 16-year-olds could claim benefit. They can't now. And how many other people fail to meet the criteria and simply don't claim? So to say there are fewer unemployed now than there were may be true, but we don't really know about how many. Certainly not by how many the government would claim. And thus we believe we are living in better times. In 1938, the population of Germany believed they were going through an industrial and economic expansion and their lives were better. But stats indicate that inflation was higher than prices and their standard of living was actually going down. Hjalmar Schacht, the German finance minister, was using promissory notes to buy foreign material called Mefo bills. Some historians believe that it got so bad that Hitler decided to stage a little incident to distract the attention from this. We call it the Second World War. The point is that when they tell you your life is getting better, it might not be. However, the second part of this is the way in which you can get around that, because what you can do is give the masses the opiate or whatever they require. In Aldous Huxley's book, The Brave New World, Brave New World, Pete Linnett took something called Soma to make them happy. I've got a quote here from Brave New World. It's Lena talking to Bernard. "I don't understand anything," she said with decision, determined to preserve her incomprehension intact. "Nothing. Least of all," she continued in another tone, "why you don't take Soma when you have these dreadful ideas of yours. You forget all about them. And instead of feeling miserable, you'd be jolly. So jolly." Like other dystopian novels, Huxley was not necessarily preaching the future, but commenting on the current situation as he saw it. But it's not without insight into how things would develop. And I don't simply mean people taking heroin, cannabis, etc. because human beings have taken drugs to feel better since before written history. But recently there's been a new epidemic that we're not quite on top of. And I don't mean heroin or cannabis. Alcohol possibly, but that again is an ancient form. This, you can see that, it's a box of duloxetine. It's an antidepressant. Now, readily available from your GP on prescription if you're feeling a bit down. Or fluoxetine you could get, or you could get escitalopram or sertraline. I wonder how many people are on antidepressants. How many people are stressed by their work, by their family life, by their prospects, that they need to take drugs to make themselves feel better. And how many people are thereby being controlled.